in Lincolnshire. He's on pole position, this time ahead of previous winner Andrew Winchester. Derek McDougall and Ross McComb round up on row 2. It's Dave Colville and Scott Morrison row 3, Willie Davidson and Colin McKinnon row 4, and rounding up the top 10 it'll be Stuart Scott and round 2 winner Peter Cruikshank.
So the 5-second board, I think, has been shown to the drivers, and the red lights start to come on, Formula 1 racing style. All 5 are on the gantry now, you can see, and once they go out, we'll be racing with a big field of XR2s, Scottish style, and who gets the best run from the front row then? It's the current champion, Scott Fraser, on the left-hand side, and Andrew Winchester on the right-hand side. It's very, very even coming into Sayat Curves for the first time. Will they all get through safely? I think they have just about. Fraser, to my mind, took the lead into the first corner, but Andrew Winchester will be right on his tail, as he is. So it's car 1 in the lead, car 2 in second place, and that looks like Ross McComb in third. We've got a spinner towards the back of the field. I think just one, was it, Ian?
Yeah, only can see one car off to the side of the circuit there. Not quite sure who that was. We'll see if we can pick that up during the course of the race. Into car loop then for the first time goes the race leader, Scott Fraser. Car number 1, Andrew Winchester, won round 1 of the championship here at Knockhill. He's in second place at the moment. Didn't have such a happy time at Cadwell Park. He had exhaust problems all weekend, meaning that he was down on power, and to compound things, in the opening race of the weekend he clipped a curb on the warm-up lap and a CV joint failed, so he wasn't even able to take the start. That gave Scott Fraser something of an advantage that weekend. Peter Cruikshank was able to close in as well over the line to complete lap 1, and it's almost a dead heat as far as that lap was concerned, with Scott Fraser and the yellow car of Andrew Winchester side by side. Winchester possibly just getting his nose ahead, but later on the brakes is Scott Fraser, and he leads going into Sayat Curves for the second time. So the blue car of Scott Fraser ahead, and in second place it's the young driver Andrew Winchester.
The rear end of the number 1 car looks a little bit unsettled, particularly coming through the faster corners and through Sayat Curves as well. The right and left flick at the start of the lap, but at the moment Scott Fraser is staying ahead. It looks particularly hairy coming through Carlib. It did on the first lap. Looks a little bit more settled though this time around. Oh, looking very sideways though this time is Derek McDougall in the number 9 car, the yellow car with the red bumpers. He's in a Ross McComb Scott Morrison sandwich at the moment. Morrison in the slightly faded yellow coloured car, and going into the hairpin, Winchester very much closer this time, and he tried around the outside of the hairpin. Now he'll try to the inside, going up and over the start finish straight. It's Scott Fraser now on the right hand side of your picture, and Winchester has the inside line, the perfect place to enter Sayat Curves. I think he's got the move done before they've even reached the old Duffers dip, of course, and we go into that corner with a new race leader, I should say, and it's Andrew Winchester just ahead of the reigning champ Scott Fraser.
Looks like Andrew Winchester's car is back on song for this weekend, although he runs a little bit wide there over the curb, coming up towards the John I. White chicane. That's their next port of call. Over the curbs they go, getting airborne as they do so. For the moment, Winchester holds on, and it's Fraser in second place. Looking further back, I think it's still Ross McComb there in third position for the moment. Look further back and you might spot the red car of Peter Cruikshank, the man who won round 2. He started only 10th on the grid, and so he is someone definitely to keep an eye to. In fact, you can see him there. I think he's in around about 5th position now, so he's made up 5 places already. Up the inside, going into the hairpin at rear radio goes Scott Fraser. The blue car gets back in front, but can Andrew Winchester fight back coming out of the corner? No, he can't. He's back into the slipstream as Peter Cruikshank tries to make up another place as well, going past, I think that's the Scott Morrison car, the pale yellow car there, for 4th position.
But again, side by side here for the lead, coming across the start finish line and on towards Sayat Curves. So this is changing virtually every lap at the moment, Ian.
It is. The leader, though, is still, for the moment, Scott Fraser ahead of Andrew Winchester. Great action further back, though. Great action in particular from Peter Cruikshank, who's forced his way up the order, starting on the 5th row of the grid. We're concentrating for the moment on the top 2. Over the chicane they come again. It really unsettles the cars in a very big style indeed. At the head of the group now for 3rd position is Peter Cruikshank, where that looks to be an expanding group for that particular jostle for position there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think, cars going through, I think, trying to be in 3rd place at the moment. Peter Cruikshank's so far not really able to get away from that group and close in on the leaders, although as I say that, along the railway straight and into rear radio hairpin, he just makes a slight break from Ross McComb and Scott Morrison, so possibly now he is tracking the leaders. You can see there's 4 of the yellow Fiestas of varying hues all together now as they come up to cross the line. It's the blue car, though, of Scott Fraser in the lead. Andrew Winchester is in second place and Peter Cruikshank is third.
I think that's Colin McKinnon, the yellow car with the kind of green bits on it at the moment. We're having trouble to identify all these yellow cars. The rest of the field comes through, battling up and down it, as you can see. Linus Stern, a really good battle towards the back of the field as well. That could be Charlie Thornton and Donald Grieve involved there, just coming through shots.
So back into sight come the leaders then, and it's still Scott Fraser ahead of Andrew Winchester. Peter Cruikshank still there in third position. He's not made a lot of ground up as yet. You'd have thought these two might have slowed each other up a bit as they battle for the lead of the race. Just looking at some of the fastest laps that have been set, it looks like Peter Cruikshank has been the fastest man so far during the course of the race. No surprise there as he's come through from 10th position on the grid up into third now. He's going to be chasing down the two leaders. It's Fraser at the moment from Winchester.
Yeah, Peter Cruikshank only another few laps I would think, and he'll be right on the tail of this leading duo. He's certainly bridging the gap from McColm in fourth position and Fraser and Winchester, who are still having this ding-dong battle. So it's the blue car, the yellow car and the red car, and that's means that the different drivers are all easier to spot than the several yellow cars. In fact, four of them all in a line for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. From the commentator's point of view, an absolute nightmare, but I think we've just about got it covered, because that is Scott Morrison in the lead of that little quartet for 4th position up to the final corner on the track. The Real Radio hairpin come our leaders, and it is still Scott Fraser just ahead of Andrew Winchester and Paul Cruikshank. But very definitely the red car is now attaching itself onto this lead battle.
Yeah, Peter Cruikshank is definitely close up on the top three as they come over the line to complete another lap. Looks like it's a black and white driving standards flag there, and that is for the number 50 car, Ross McCall.
It's still Scott Fraser coming over and very sideways over the John R. Weir chicane in first position. Andrew Winchester in second, Paul Cruikshank in third, and Scott Morrison has certainly made the dash now into fourth place. He's left that real squabbling group behind him. Going through car loop and nose to tail are our leaders now. Scott Fraser with a job to do on the approach to Real Radio hairpin. He's already cut to his right hand side of the track, to the left hand side of our picture, and is very defensive coming into Real Radio hairpin. Good driving that though, because as long as he kept the car on the inside, then Andrew Winchester couldn't turn in. He's now going to try on the overlap on the exit of the corner, and it's going to be very, very close going up and over the start finish straight this time around. That is a board being held by our starter, and that is, I think, the last lap board, Ian.
Certainly is. On to the final 1.28 miles we go then, and down the inside has gone the yellow car of Andrew Winchester, and Andrew Winchester takes the lead of the race. Scott Fraser goes back down to second. Peter Cruikshank is third. He could win this yet as well. Three cars in with a chance of victory into the final lap of the race then. A little bit untidy there, possibly Scott Fraser, or was he just looking either side of Andrew Winchester's car for a way through? Peter Cruikshank just dropping back 1 or 2 lengths, and there in fourth place is the 29-year-old Scott Morrison. He is having another good drive after a strong performance at Cadwell Park, where he had a 4th and a 2nd on his first visit to that notoriously tricky circuit. Back with the leaders though, they've come through his stops back onto the railway straight for the final time. It's the yellow car of Andrew Winchester that's ahead. Really one more chance now for Scott Fraser to try and reverse the positions. He's on the outside line though. Good driving this from Winchester. Can he drive? Can the blue car get alongside as they come up to the line? He's going to have a good go. Is Scott Fraser almost overlapping now? The checkered flag is there, and the checkered flag is waved, and side by side across the line. But I think the yellow car just getting the verdict, and yes indeed, Andrew Winchester has taken a win by just 7 1/1000ths of a second. Peter Cruikshank was in half a second as well. In fourth place was Scott Morrison. Derek McDougall was fifth, and Colin McKinnon completed the top 6.